Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is my Matchday 6 Premier League predictions. Last week my predictions were a lot better compared to previous weeks, and I actually did get one 100% right, which I'm still very proud of. But yeah, so let's continue that this week. We've got a few big games coming this week, including the big one, Spurs, Arsenal, the North London derby. Got Chelsea, Villa, United away to Burnley, Liverpool got West Ham as well. Some great matchups and potentially some tricky ones to call. So yeah, let's just get straight into it. We're starting off with no 12:30 kickoff this weekend, straight into 3 p.m. kickoffs. Palace versus Fulham. So it's an interesting one to start off. Palace, Fulham don't look too capable of scoring too many goals. Fulham off the back of a win, a 1-0 win, a very good win against bottom of the league, Luton. And Palace off the back of a loss to Villa, even though they only lost it in the 98th minute. I think Palace are the stronger team here, hence why I'm going for a 1-0 Palace win. I'm only going for 1-0 though. I don't expect it to be high scoring. Neither team has incredibly clinical strikers. I do think Edouard's a good striker, but I don't think he's overly clinical. I don't think he's one of the best strikers in the Prem. But I reckon he will score the winner because he is I reckon he'll get a load of chances. He's the kind of guy to score maybe 1 in 5 chances. He's not going to score every single time he gets a chance. But yeah, for the first match of the game week, I'm going Palace 1, Fulham 0. Then we move into Luton versus Wolves, which is such a hard one to predict because I don't rate either team highly at all. The one game we've seen so far at Kenilworth Road was a very narrow win for West Ham, but it was a deserved win for West Ham. Luton just picked up a late consolation in the 93rd minute. And I still don't know what to expect from Luton. Going off what I've seen so far, they've been so poor. They haven't won a single game, so I'm not going to predict them to win. I'm going to go for a 2-1 Wolves win. It just doesn't look like anything's going for them, but hopefully Kenilworth Road will provide a little bit more of an advantage to them, obviously being at home. But we haven't really seen them too much at home because obviously the first game where they were at home was postponed because it wasn't completed its maintenance or something like that. But Wolves, same for Wolves really. They've looked poor, unable to score goals. They were very, very good actually last week against Liverpool. It's just they couldn't finish chances and Liverpool ultimately punished them for their inability to score. There was a chance that Wolves could have gone 2 up before half-time. Cunha, easy header, and he just headed it straight to the keeper. It's shocking. But Luton have a very leaky defence, so I reckon Wolves will manage to put some of the chances away. They're going to get enough of them, and I reckon they'll take the 3 points, leaving Luton 0 out of 6. So yeah, Luton 1, Wolves 2. Then we move on to Manchester City versus Nottingham Forest. City in the past 2 games have found themselves 1-0 down at half-time and then managed to win both of them 3-1, turn it around. They've actually scored in the first minute of the second half in both of those matches. Doku against West Ham and then Alvarez against Red Star Belgrade. I do think City will dominate though. They're the much better team. They dominate any team at home. I'm going for a Manchester City 3-1 win. I think Forest will actually score on the counter. I think it's going to be a similar situation. I think Forest are going to go in 1-0 up at half time and City will turn it around because ultimately they're the better team. And Forest won't be able to keep a lead. But I think City will win 3-1. They'll make it 6 out of 6. Pushing for that 4th league title in a row. It's probably going to happen. Forest have been good this season so far, don't get me wrong. They 100% will stay up. They picked up some important results already. A win against Chelsea. That point against Burnley last week was a good point. They did well against United as well, but just lost out at the end. But yeah, Manchester City 3, Forest 1. Then we move on to Brentford versus Everton, the Saturday night football, 5:30. I'm going for 2-1 Brentford. Brentford are the better team. Simple as that. Everton have nothing going for them, only 1 point so far. I don't think Sean Dyche has got too much time left personally, being brutally honest. I love Sean Dyche, always have, loved him at Burnley, but they look shaky at the back and they're unable to score any goals as well. And Brentford haven't won too many recently. I think they've drawn a couple. They're not doing amazing, but we weren't expecting them to do amazing. They're just doing mid-table form. They will definitely stay up, of course, but they're at home. They're the better team, so I'm going for a 2-1 win. Hopefully Brian and Bramo pick up a couple goals for me, please. Yeah. Then we move on to Burnley versus Man United. I'm going to go Burnley 1, Man United 1. I think it's sensible to predict a draw here, considering United have lost 3 matches in a row. We've only won 3 matches away from home all year, and when I mean all year, I mean 2023. A shocking record. I don't mean just this season, I mean all year. Only 3 away wins, which is it's diabolical. But they did I think we looked a lot better against Bayern Munich in the Champions League in midweek. First 25 minutes we were on top. We just needed to create a big chance and score. But then we were undone by an Onana mistake. Bayern started to get in the game a bit more, and then Onana fumbled it. And then as soon as we got it back to 2-1 after half-time, there was a dodgy penalty. I don't think it was a penalty. I can see why you think it is. But at the end of the day, we lost anyway, so it doesn't really make a difference. But I think we put up a much greater performance than I anticipated. And in the end, we only lost by 1 goal. And losing by 1 goal at the Allianz Arena, scoring 3, it's not terrible. It's just our defence looked very, very shaky. But in terms of Burnley, they've only got 1 point this season, and then you would think not a very good team. But I think they've shown signs of what they're capable of, even in the matches that they've lost. Despite losing 4, I think they've looked good, which sounds stupid. I just think they have. But they nearly got a massive away win last week against Forest. They were just undone by that winner being disallowed for handball by Sander Berge. So I'm going to go for a draw, but I think if there is any winner, I do think United will win it 2-1. But if we lose this match, it will be very worrying, and I don't really know where we would go from there. But let's cross that bridge if we get there. But right now, my prediction, 1-1. Then Chelsea versus Aston Villa. Now this is a very, very difficult one to predict because Chelsea are incredibly unpredictable. It depends realistically on what Chelsea turns up, because there's been the Chelsea against Luton. I know it was only Luton, but they looked amazing, creating loads of chances. Midfield looked very good, balanced, everything. But then there's the Chelsea losing at home to Nottingham Forest 1-0, then drawing away to Bournemouth. But considering Villa are the better team right now, I'm going to go for a 2-1 Aston Villa win. I think Villa won this match last year as well. Villa did lose to Ludogorets midweek, and Chelsea only got a point away to Bournemouth last week. But if Forest can beat Chelsea 1-0 at the Bridge, I reckon Villa have got every chance of going away with the 3 points. So I'm going to go 2-1 Aston Villa. But I honestly could go either way. Chelsea, it just depends what Chelsea shows up. That's my prediction for that one. It's a very difficult one, that one. Let me know what you think in the comments. Then we've got Liverpool versus West Ham, another very unpredictable game, but I'm going to go for a 3-1 Liverpool win purely because they're at Anfield. Liverpool have looked way more like the Liverpool of 2 seasons ago this year. New midfield, new team, they've literally changed. I think there's 16 matches unbeaten right now. They're doing very well. I think Luis Diaz and Nunes need to start this match. When they've played, they looked much better. They scored midweek, I think, as well in the Europa League. But Liverpool are making Anfield that fortress again that it once was. So I fully expect them to come away with 3 points. Don't get me wrong, West Ham are a great team. It's just because Liverpool are at Anfield. I reckon James Ward-Prowse, goal or assist. And then I think one of Nunes. I don't really know how it will go, but I do think Liverpool will win 3-1. I think West Ham might go 1-up, and then Liverpool will win. And then we go into the big game of the weekend, the blockbuster match, Arsenal versus Spurs, the North London derby, the one that everyone's tuning into this weekend. And it's not going to be one-sided. This one is going to be exciting. Both teams unbeaten so far this year. Both teams looked great. Right, like in past years, we've had teams like Spurs. Like when Arsenal were poor, Spurs were clear winners, and it was just a bit boring going into it. Last year, Arsenal were clear winners, whereas we've got an even match right now. Well, they're coming in both good teams, so it's a very difficult one to call. So I can't really pick a winner, so I'm going 2-2. There's been plenty of 2-2s in the past, but Arsenal are probably the favourites. They're at home, they're at the Emirates. Spurs have only recently started looking good, whereas Arsenal have been consistently good for the past year, only just lost out the title last year. But I reckon it's going to be highly entertaining, an exciting draw. For Spurs, in recent years, Kane has played the big part in deciding the outcome between these two teams. But obviously he isn't there anymore, but I reckon Big Ange, he'll have a trick up his sleeve. He's already been giving mind games in the press conference. He was saying that they had no chance. He knows what he's talking about. I love him as a manager and as a person. I think he's a great person. And I've said in previous prediction videos, where Spurs will be truly tested is when they play a big team like Arsenal. And this is what's going to show what they're made of, because Arsenal away, biggest match of the season for them. This is bragging rights in the locally. Spurs, Arsenal, this is bragging rights. So we'll see how it goes, but I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw. Then we go into Brighton versus Bournemouth. I've gone for 4-1 Brighton. I reckon Brighton will dominate. I did expect better than them from them in the Europa League midweek though. I thought they lacked cutting edge, and it pained me to watch them in those last 30 minutes. It didn't just whip it in. Sometimes you just got to whip the ball in when you've got not much time left. Just get it in the box and hope that it falls to someone, hope that someone makes a mistake. Whereas they just kept going for 1-2s and it just kept wasting time, and I wasn't impressed when I was watching the last 13 minutes for them. But I do think this will be a routine win for them. They're a much better team, and I think they're going to score 4 goals. Bournemouth have looked poor this season, and they're still winless under this new manager, and I do still think that will come back to bite them at the end of the season. But yeah, 4-1 for me. Then we go into the final game of this match week, Sheffield United versus Newcastle. I'm going to go for 3-1 Newcastle. Newcastle is just a way better team. Yeah, simple as that. They picked up a very important win last week, helping relieve the pressure for Eddie Howe, and picked up a great point away from home at the San Siro midweek. Nick Pope made so many good saves, but yeah, I reckon this is a routine win for Newcastle, and they'll make it 2 in a row, and Sheffield will just stay with their one singular point they've earned this season. But yeah, those are my match day 6 predictions. I hope you enjoy this video. Obviously, make sure you tune in to my reaction to these after this game week. That'll probably be coming out Monday at some point. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, guys, and thank you.